When we talk about the first Buddha, we're usually referring to Siddhartha Gautama, who is the most well-known and historically significant figure associated with the title Buddha. However, within Buddhist cosmology and belief, Siddhartha Gautama is considered just one in a long line of Buddhas, who appear in each age to teach the Dharma, the truth or the teachings on the path to enlightenment. In this video, we'll be discussing Siddhartha Gautama and what led him to enlightenment and his effect on the world. Welcome to another episode of Stranger History. If you like learning about our strange history, please like and subscribe to our channel. Siddhartha Gautama, known to many as the Buddha, remains one of history's most influential spiritual figures. His teachings have traversed continents and millennia, but to truly grasp the profundity of his insights, one must first delve into the early chapters of his life. It is a tale of opulence and sheltering, juxtaposed against a burning quest for deeper truths, a tale that begins in the lush landscapes of ancient India. Siddhartha's story starts even before his birth, with prophecies and dreams foretelling his extraordinary destiny. Born in the 6th century BCE into the Sakya clan in Lumbini, a region of present-day Nepal, his arrival was accompanied by auspicious signs. Seers and wise men, upon examining these omens, made two distinct predictions for the young prince. He would either become an unparalleled monarch, ruling over vast territories, or he would renounce worldly pleasures to become a supreme spiritual leader. His father, King Suddhodana, intent on steering his son towards kingship, decided to shape Siddhartha's environment meticulously. Growing up, Siddhartha experienced a life of unparalleled luxury. Residing within the confines of 3 palaces, each designated for a specific season, he was surrounded by every conceivable pleasure. Gardens bloomed, music echoed, and dancers entertained, ensuring that Siddhartha's days were drenched in delight. His father made certain that the young prince was shielded from the harsher realities of life. Pain, suffering, and the inevitabilities of aging and death remained distant concepts, abstract and unseen. But alongside this material comfort, there existed an intellectual and emotional cocoon. Siddhartha was educated in the arts and sciences of the time, and by all accounts, exhibited a sharp intellect and a compassionate heart. Yet his education and experiences were carefully curated. King Suddhodana's intent was clear. Siddhartha's life was to be one devoid of existential crises, ensuring his ascendancy to the throne. In his late 20s, the carefully constructed edifice of Siddhartha's sheltered existence began to show its cracks. Despite being married to the beautiful Yasodhara and having a son named Rahula, an innate restlessness grew within him. Curiosity and a desire for authentic experiences led him beyond the palace walls, resulting in a series of encounters, later known as the 4 Sights, that would profoundly alter his worldview. Central to his transition from royal heir to spiritual sage are a series of encounters that served as both a revelation and a challenge, leading him to question the very fabric of human existence. These sights are emblematic of life's inherent struggles and the potential spiritual paths one might adopt to address them. To understand the significance of these sights, it is vital to first consider the backdrop against which they were set. Siddhartha lived in affluence and seclusion, ensconced within the walls of his palatial residence. His father, King Suddhodana, aiming to shield him from life's harsh realities and to ensure he would become a great king, kept him away from any sight of suffering or privation. However, as with many young souls, Siddhartha was driven by an innate curiosity and a deep-seated sense that there was more to life than the curated pleasures of the palace. It was during a series of furtive excursions outside his sheltered existence that Siddhartha encountered the 4 Sights. The first was an old man, frail and bent with age, his body a testament to the ravages of time. For someone who had only seen the vigor of youth, the sight was a jarring realization of the inescapable decline that accompanies aging. The second sight was no less disconcerting. Siddhartha came across a person racked with illness, body trembling and face contorted in pain. This visceral representation of disease and the vulnerability of the human body further shattered his previous understanding of existence. The third sight deepened Siddhartha's existential crisis. He saw a lifeless body surrounded by grieving kin. The stark reality of death, the inevitable end that awaits every living being, weighed heavily on his heart. However, it was the fourth sight that offered a glimmer of hope amid these confrontations with life's inherent suffering. Siddhartha observed an ascetic, a serene, composed figure, seemingly unperturbed by worldly afflictions. The ascetic represented a conscious choice to seek answers, a life dedicated to understanding and perhaps transcending the very suffering Siddhartha had witnessed. Collectively, these sights offered Siddhartha a panoramic view of life's inevitable challenges, aging, illness, and death, and the potential spiritual paths to address this existential trilemma. Rather than retreating to the comforts of his palace and trying to forget these disturbing revelations, Siddhartha was galvanized into action. The sights became the catalyst for his momentous decision to embark on a spiritual quest, leading to his eventual enlightenment. Realizing that palace life was a shield from the real world and its inherent suffering, Siddhartha made a momentous decision. The internal turmoil that ensued from these revelations pushed Siddhartha to a profound decision. At the age of 29, he decided to leave behind his life of luxury, his young wife Yasodhara, and their newborn son Rahula, to embark on a spiritual quest for enlightenment. This decision and act of leaving is known as the Great Departure. This act of leaving, the Great Departure, was not an impulsive escape, but a deeply deliberate act. Siddhartha's departure in the silence of the night, traded his royal attire for ascetic robes, and shaved his head as a gesture of renunciation. He then set out into the forests of northern India, seeking spiritual teachers and practicing various forms of meditation and asceticism. The significance of the Great Departure extends beyond Siddhartha's personal journey. It represents the universal human quest for meaning and purpose. In the narrative of the Buddha-to-be, we find mirrored our own struggles with existential questions and the sacrifices one might make in pursuit of answers. Siddhartha's departure reminds us that true enlightenment often requires relinquishing the familiar and stepping into the unknown. In the tapestry of Siddhartha's life, the period leading up to his enlightenment was marked by intense spiritual exploration. From his great departure from the comforts of palace life, Siddhartha delved deep into the religious practices of his time. He sought out renowned spiritual teachers, embraced asceticism, and even subjected his body to extreme austerities in his quest for answers to life's pressing questions. Despite his rigorous efforts, the ultimate truth eluded him. After practicing severe asceticism for several years, Siddhartha had become weak and emaciated. One day, near the village of Senani, close to the banks of the river Niranjana, he accepted a bowl of rice milk from a young village maiden named Sujata. She had mistaken him for a tree spirit and wanted to offer the deity a dish made of rice and milk. After consuming this nourishing meal, Siddhartha felt revitalized. He realized that extreme austerities were not the way to attain enlightenment. This epiphany led him to adopt the middle way, a path of balance rather than extremism. It was amidst this backdrop of intense spiritual striving and subsequent disillusionment that Siddhartha, determined yet despondent, arrived at the town of Bodh Gaya in India. Here, beneath the now famed Bodhi tree, Siddhartha resolved to meditate until he attained the truth. He seated himself, both physically and metaphorically, at the crossroads of his spiritual journey, seeking clarity amidst the chaos of his internal tumult. As days and nights merged, Siddhartha grappled with Mara, a symbolic representation of desire, fear, and the illusions of the material world. He faced temptations, doubts, and the entire gamut of human emotions and experiences. Yet with unwavering determination and deepening concentration, Siddhartha pierced through the layers of illusion to realize the nature of suffering, its origins, and the path to its cessation. This profound realization is what Buddhists refer to as the Four Noble Truths. In that transcendent moment, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha. His enlightenment was not an acquisition of new knowledge, but rather a profound awakening to truths that had always existed but remained obscured by ignorance and delusion. This enlightenment, characterized by wisdom, compassion, and inner peace, marked the genesis of Buddhism, a path that emphasized the potential for enlightenment within every individual. The significance of Siddhartha's enlightenment extends far beyond his personal realization. It birthed a new spiritual paradigm that emphasized the middle way, neither extreme asceticism nor indulgence. His teachings, encapsulated in the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, provided a systematic approach to inner transformation and societal harmony. The narrative of Siddhartha Gautama's life is often bifurcated into two significant epochs: his journey to enlightenment and the period that ensued post-enlightenment. While the tale of his quest for truth beneath the Bodhi tree is celebrated globally, the chapters of his life post-enlightenment are equally, if not more, impactful. This phase is characterized by expansive teachings, establishment of a monastic order, and the propagation of a spiritual doctrine that continues to shape the lives of millions. After his monumental experience beneath the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, Siddhartha, now the Buddha, could have chosen a life of solitary meditation, basking in the peace of his newfound enlightenment. Instead, driven by boundless compassion and an unyielding commitment to alleviate suffering, he embarked on a mission to share his insights with humanity. His first discourse, delivered in the Deer Park near Varanasi, laid down the framework of his teachings. Here he expounded the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, foundational tenets that encapsulated the essence of suffering and the path to its cessation. This sermon, known as the Setting in Motion of the Wheel of Dharma, marked the inception of what we now understand as Buddhism. Over the next 45 years, the Buddha traveled extensively across the Gangetic Plains, engaging with a diverse array of individuals, kings and paupers, scholars and laypeople, men and women. His teachings, marked by their pragmatism and accessibility, transcended societal divisions of caste, gender, and class. The Buddha's approach was unique. He tailored his discourses to the needs and understanding of his audience, ensuring his teachings were both relevant and transformative. Parallel to his teachings, the Buddha also laid the foundations for a monastic community known as the Sangha. It began with a handful of monks and nuns, but rapidly expanded, offering a structured path for those deeply committed to the practice and propagation of the Dharma. The Sangha, with its rules and guidelines detailed in the Vinaya Pitaka, ensured the continuity and preservation of the Buddha's teachings. However, life post-enlightenment wasn't devoid of challenges. The Buddha faced opposition, misunderstandings, and even attempts on his life. Yet he navigated these with equanimity, wisdom, and an unwavering commitment to his mission. In his 80th year, in the town of Kushinagar, the Buddha passed away, or rather entered parinirvana, an ultimate release, free from the cycle of birth and death. Yet his teachings, preserved and propagated by the Sangha, continued to flourish, spreading across continents and epochs. In conclusion, Siddhartha Gautama's life after enlightenment stands as a testament to the transformative power of compassion in action. While his journey to enlightenment was deeply personal, his post-enlightenment life was a selfless offering to humanity, a beacon guiding countless souls towards understanding, peace, and liberation. In the Buddha's footsteps, we find a path illuminated by wisdom, compassion, and relentless service, a legacy that continues to inspire and guide humanity. The influence of Siddhartha Gautama and Buddhism is vast. On a religious and philosophical level, Buddhism offers a profound analysis of human existence and provides a method for understanding ourselves and the world around us. In terms of cultural impact, Buddhism has significantly influenced the art, literature, philosophy, and social structure of countries such as India, China, Japan, Korea, and many others. In the modern world, Elements of Buddhist philosophy, such as mindfulness and meditation, have permeated into a wide array of disciplines, including psychology, cognitive science, and wellness practices. Despite being over 2 millennia old, the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama continue to resonate with people today. Thus ends our journey into the life and teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, a man who found enlightenment in the middle path, teaching us about the impermanence of life and the importance of compassion and understanding. If you found this journey enriching, please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. So, what's your opinion of Siddhartha Gautama? Has he influenced you in any way? Please tell us in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe to our channel if you like learning about our strange history.